Does managing your email feel like an endless task eating up hours of your day? You're not alone. I've been there too. Email is essential to work, but if we're not careful, it can quickly take over our entire day. Over the past 10 years, I've worked in consulting and corporate, running countless projects, building this YouTube channel with millions of views on the side, and managing a constant flood of emails. Through that experience, I figured out what works and what doesn't when it comes to email productivity. So today, I'll show you how ChatGPT can completely transform how you handle your inbox. Instead of spending hours a day on emails, like the average professional, you'll spend far less because, let's be honest, we've all got better things to do. So let's dive into our first tip, drafting professional emails. If you've ever spent way too much time perfecting the wording of a simple response, you're certainly not alone. Drafting emails can be a productivity sinkhole, but with ChatGPT, you can save yourself a lot of time and effort. Here's an example. Let's say a client emails you asking for an update on a project. You want to respond professionally, keep it concise, and make sure all the necessary details are included. Instead of starting from scratch, you can use ChatGPT to do the heavy lifting with a well-crafted prompt. Here's what that prompt might look like. Draft a professional email to a client about the website redesign project. The project is currently on track. The next milestone is delivering the first draft by next Friday, and the team is incorporating the client's branding feedback. Use a friendly yet professional tone and structure the email into clear paragraphs. The client values concise communication, and this email is part of our regular project updates. This prompt is short but effective, and here's the kind of email ChatGPT might generate. Subject, project update, website redesign. Hi, client's name. I hope this email finds you well. I wanted to share an update on the website redesign project. Everything is progressing as planned, and we're on track to deliver the first draft by next Friday. The team is currently focused on incorporating the branding feedback you've provided to ensure the designs meet your expectations. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any additional input or questions. We're here to help. Best regards, and your name. Now you might be wondering two things. First, how does this actually make you more productive? After all, the prompt seems almost as long and challenging to write as the email itself. And second, how can you ensure your prompt is actually getting you the best result? Here are two simple answers. At first glance, the prompt might seem like it takes just as much effort as writing the email. But here's the trick. Once you create a solid prompt, it can be reused for similar situations. Replace project-specific details like the project name, status, and deadlines, and you have a new prompt ready to go in seconds. Additionally, ChatGPT learns and adapts. The more you use it, the better it understands your style and the kinds of projects you're working on. Over time, it will adapt to your tone and preferences, meaning you'll spend less time tweaking the output. For example, if you regularly send project updates to client, you can build a library of prompts for every scenario. Delivering good news, delivering bad news, addressing delays, or summarizing milestones. That's actually what I do. I save all my prompts in a OneNote page, so they're always at hand when I need them. And to ensure your prompt consistently gets the best results, I use something called the W framework. Because the better your prompt, the better the answers from ChatGPT will be. So let me walk you through it using the example we just discussed. In every prompt, you should include a few essential things so ChatGPT knows exactly what it needs to do. In addition, there's nice to have information you can include to make the output even better, but it's not a must. Let's break it down. First, there are the essential elements. The what defines the task you need ChatGPT to do. In this example, it's as simple as asking ChatGPT to draft a professional email to a client about the website redesign project. Next, the why provides the context or background. For this email, the project is on track. The next milestone is delivering the first draft by next Friday, and the team is incorporating the client's branding feedback. Finally, the how specifies the tone and format. In this case, the email should use a friendly yet professional tone and be structured into clear paragraphs. These three elements, what, why, and how, are the core of a strong prompt. They ensure ChatGPT has all the necessary information to generate a meaningful and polished response. And then there are the nice-to-have elements, which refine the output further. The who adds details about the recipient or audience. In this example, the client values concise and direct communication. The when includes any deadlines or timelines, such as mentioning that the next milestones is due next Friday. And finally, the where specifies the context or platform where the output will be used. For this email, it's part of a regular email series of project updates. I recommend drafting a generic prompt that includes both the essential and nice-to-have elements. And whenever you use or adjust it, you can remove any parts that aren't necessary for that specific context. By using the W framework, saving reusable prompts, and letting ChatGPT learn your preferences, you'll transform email drafting into a quick and efficient process. Give it a try and let me know in the comments how it works for you. Let's move on to our second tip, summarizing long email threads. We've all been there, scrolling through endless back and forth messages, trying to figure out the key points and what needs to happen next. It's not just frustrating, it's a massive time waster. But with ChatGPT, you can cut through the noise and get to the heart of the conversation in seconds. Here's how it works. Let's say you're part of a project where your team has exchanged dozens of emails over the past week while you were out of the office. Monday morning, you're back at your desk and need to get up to speed just in time for a client call. There's no way you can reread everything and prepare in time. That's where you can use ChatGPT to summarize the thread for you. Here's the prompt I'd use keeping the W framework in mind. Summarize the following email thread for me in a concise and professional manner. Highlight the key discussion points, any decisions made, and next steps. The context is a project update for the website redesign project, and the summary is for internal use to prepare for a client call. Use clear language and organize the summary in bullet points. Here's the email thread, and then you can insert the email thread. This prompt provides ChatGPT with all the essential details it needs. The what is summarizing the email thread. The why is to prepare for a client call, and the how specifies the tone and structure of the summary, concise, professional, and organized into bullets. The optional elements like the who, the summary is for internal use, and where, in the context of a project updates, help refine the output. So when providing the email thread to ChatGPT, the simplest method is to go into your email inbox, select the relevant thread, and use Control and A or Command and A on Mac to copy everything. This ensures you grab the entire conversation, including the sender, recipient, date, and message content. Once copied, paste it directly into ChatGPT where it says Insert Thread. ChatGPT is designed to handle large amounts of text, so it should have no problem analyzing the full thread and pulling out the key points. Once you hit send, ChatGPT will generate a concise summary with the elements you defined in your prompt earlier, and there you go. With this summary, you're fully prepared for the client call without wasting precious time digging through emails. This method not only saves time but ensures nothing gets overlooked. Plus, you can reuse the same prompt for other long threads, whether they are for internal updates, client communication, or catching up on missed discussions. Now, if you found these practical but powerful tips helpful so far and want even more, sign up for my newsletter via the link in the description and start making real lasting progress today. Let's move on to the third tip, summarizing meeting notes. After a meeting, you might have detailed notes in OneNote or a transcript exported from Microsoft Teams. These notes are packed with information, but condensing them into a clear, actionable summary for an email follow-up can take time. That's where ChatGPT can help. Here's how it works. Let's say you've finished a project planning meeting for the website redesign project. You've taken detailed notes in OneNote or exported the transcript from Teams. Instead of manually crafting an email update, you can use ChatGPT to create a concise and professional summary. Here's the prompt I'd use. Summarize the following meeting notes into a concise and professional email format. Include key discussion points, decisions made, and next steps. The context is the website redesign project, and the email is a follow-up for all attendees to ensure alignment. Use bullet points for clarity and a professional tone. Here are the notes, and then you can insert your meeting notes. This prompt uses again the W framework to make sure ChatGPT delivers exactly what you need. The what is summarizing meeting notes into an email. The why explains that the email is a follow-up to ensure alignment. The how specifies using a professional tone, bullet points, and a clear structure. And optional elements like the who, attendees, and where, context of the project, refine the output to make it more relevant. To provide ChatGPT with the notes, simply copy and paste the content from OneNote or the Teams transcript directly into the prompt where it says Insert Meeting Notes. ChatGPT can process detailed notes and distill them into an email-ready format. Based on your input, here's an example of what ChatGPT might generate. A complete email with the bullets you have asked for. Subject, follow-up, website redesign, meeting summary. Hi team, thank you for attending the meeting. Below is a summary, key discussion points, decisions made, next steps. Please let me know if there's anything we've missed or additional points to address. Looking forward to your feedback. Best regards, your name. Let's move on to the fourth tip, polishing tone and grammar. I have to say, this is one of my favorite uses for ChatGPT. As someone who's not a native English speaker, I've often worried about whether an email sounds professional enough or if my tone might come across the wrong way. If you felt the same, you're going to love this tip. Now, I know most email programs today have built-in spell and grammar checks, and there are great third-party tools like Grammarly. These tools are helpful, but from my experience, and I've used both extensively, ChatGPT takes things a step further. When you provide ChatGPT with your initial email and ask for a rewrite, the result is often far superior. It doesn't just fix grammar or typos. It improves clarity, refines tone, and ensures your message sounds polished and professional, or however you want it to sound. So sometimes you've already written an email, but you're not sure if it's polished, professional, or conveys the right tone. ChatGPT can step in and make it better. Here's a prompt I'd use complying with the W framework introduced earlier. Rewrite the following email to sound more professional, concise, and empathetic. The context is a client communication regarding a project update. Use a polite and understanding tone, ensuring clarity and professionalism throughout. The recipient is a client who values clear and respectful communication. And here's the email. Now you can insert your draft email. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say your original draft reads, Hi Paul, sorry for the delay on your project. We've run into some issues but are working on fixing them. Hopefully we'll get it done by next week. Let me know if you have any questions. Best, Leah. With the prompt just shared, ChatGPT might rewrite it like this. Hi Paul, I hope this message finds you well. Our team is actively addressing these issues and is committed to delivering the completed project by next week. Best regards, Leah. Even though this example is for a relatively short email, this method is incredibly useful for longer, more complex emails as well. For instance, if you're crafting a detailed project update, addressing multiple stakeholders, or explaining a sensitive issue, ChatGPT can help you strike the right tone and structure. And don't forget, once you've created a solid prompt like this, you can reuse it. Replace the specific details like the context or recipient, and you're ready to go in seconds. Over time, you'll build a library of reusable prompts that will save you even more time and effort. Let's move on to the fifth tip, brainstorming draft ideas. I guess you know the situation too well when you sit down and have to write an important email but somehow feel completely stuck. Maybe you're not sure how to phrase a follow-up to a client or want to stand out with a creative approach. This is where ChatGPT can really shine. It's like having a brainstorming partner on demand. Let's say you've recently submitted a proposal to a client and now you need to follow up. You want to send something that's not just a generic checking in email or a kindly reminder, but a more thoughtful message that keeps the conversation moving. Here's the prompt I'd use. Suggest 3 creative and professional ways to follow up with a client after submitting a proposal. The context is a proposal for a website redesign project, and the goal is to maintain engagement and encourage feedback. The responses should be professional but engaging, and each idea should include a subject line and a brief body text. This prompt makes use of the W framework by clearly defining the task, the purpose behind it, and how the output should look. ChatGPT might respond with ideas like these, where the first one reads, subject, excited to hear your thoughts on the proposal. Hi, client name, I wanted to follow up on the website redesign proposal I sent over last week. If you've had a chance to review it, I'd love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions you might have. I'd be happy to walk you through any details. Looking forward to your feedback. And then there's the other options ChatGPT shares. Now let's dive into the final tip, and one that's a lifesaver in some of the most challenging situations at work. I mean, let's face it, writing difficult emails can feel overwhelming. Whether it's addressing an unhappy client, responding to negative feedback, or sharing bad news, finding the right words is tough. You don't want to come across as defensive or dismissive, but you also need to stay professional and clear. And that's where ChatGPT comes in, making this challenge much easier to handle. Imagine a client is unhappy with delays in their project. You need to acknowledge their frustration, explain the situation, and propose a solution that restores their confidence. So here's the prompt I'd use. Draft a professional and empathetic email response to a client who is unhappy with delays in their project. The delay was caused by unforeseen challenges, and the team is working to resolve them. Acknowledge the client's frustration, provide a brief explanation, and outline clear next steps to maintain trust and a strong working relationship. ChatGPT might generate something like this. Hi, client name. I understand how frustrating the delays in your project must be. The delay was due to unforeseen challenges with brief explanation. Our team is actively addressing the issue. If you'd like, I'd happy to discuss this further or provide updates on our progress. Please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Best regards, and your name. This response strikes the perfect balance between empathy and professionalism. It acknowledges the client's concerns, explains the issues clearly, and provides a plan to move forward. Difficult conversations will always be part of professional life, but ChatGPT makes them much more manageable. Once you have a solid prompt, you can reuse and adapt it for different scenarios. What you can also always do is to request additional changes to the answers ChatGPT has generated. If you don't like the tone, the level of detail, or anything else, just request ChatGPT to change this, but remember to be as specific as possible about the requested changes. ChatGPT isn't the only tool that can transform your email productivity. There are countless simple but powerful strategies that can save you hours every day, starting with optimizing your email workflow in Microsoft Outlook. But knowing where to begin and which features to focus on can feel overwhelming. So watch this video next, where I'll share my favorite Outlook tips that can save you hours a day.